with Escape to Gaming. I've been away from YouTube for a little while, for a couple weeks, and I've missed a lot of my friends' videos. I certainly missed, putting one out, but I wanted to try to put one out today to really show my appreciation for the hobby that I love. And I've done a couple videos on, why I name my show Escape to Gaming, what I feel about escapism, and why I think gaming is important, especially as an older person or an older gamer. It's really helped me to augment my life in ways where you couldn't economically afford to. I remember back in the day, if you wanted to experience something, you didn't have racing games like Forza. You had to go out and take a car out and see what it could do. And sometimes with disastrous results. But, it was fun. And, even back then we had Pong, and I grew up when my friends had Intellivisions and Atari 2600s, and it was nice having those systems. And it was nice playing on them, but they were more like arcade-ish, I guess, games. They weren't really an immersive experience. You could use your imagination on a game like, Atari 2600's Pitfall, and imagine that you're an adventurer, tiptoeing around and going through caves underneath, and you could use your mind to fill in the blanks, but we've never had it so good today. You can literally act out every type of game, that you want. I just recently I've been playing, recently I played the Stoke Big Air Edition, one of my favorite snowboarding games, and I love this game. It's so peaceful and so relaxing. I highly recommend it. It's an Xbox 360 exclusive. You can probably pick it up dirt cheap. The Big Air Edition had more mountains. A very tough, challenging game, but you can go in and open the mountains up and ski down them any way you'd like on a snowboard, and it's just so peaceful and relaxing. You can pick your choice of music. Sometimes I'm just so overwhelmed with work and headaches and customers and real-life problems that the peace that I find in something like this is, you couldn't put a price on it. You could spend $100, for a game like this if it was the only way that I could experience it, because it's so much fun to just. I've never snowboarded in my life. I've skied. I grew up in Maine, so I had, did skiing as a kid. But I'm so old now, I can't afford to take the risk on a snowboard and breaking my leg or ankle, and then I can't work. The same thing with dirt bikes. I've had dirt bikes for years, and it's just, I'm at a place in my, at 51 years old, I can't risk breaking an arm or a leg or getting paralyzed because I go off and jump at 75 miles an hour and don't land as well as I'd like. So what I love about video games is that, especially now, is that there's so many ways you can act out things you've always wanted to do like never before. We've never had it so good. I've been playing a lot of Forza 2, and I played this over the weekend. I had my daughter here a couple weekends ago, and I was showing them the Forza 2, and they really enjoyed the scenery and the countryside. Her boyfriend's into gaming. He plays more of the, League of Legends and Diablo 3 and games like that, but he likes and is fascinated with the new consoles. He was thinking of getting a PlayStation 4, so I showed him some of my PlayStation 4 stuff. I certainly showed him the Forza Horizon 2, and it's games like this where you don't have to take a car out and wrap it around a tree to see that, I guess I can't take that corner at 70. In fact, even has a rewind feature. You can just back it up and erase whatever mistake you made, which is, to me, in my mind, is cheating, but it's still a lot of fun. And it's great that you have the option to do that if you want. So the games like, Stoke or Forza Horizon 2, these are for me personally, very relaxing. Sometimes I don't have the mental gymnastics to go through missions of a FPS game or something that's got a really heavy immersive game, and they're just very pleasant games to get into and escape from the problems and cares of the world and the frustrations. I've been on a marathon of work, 6-7 days a week for over a month or so straight, and I've just been burned out and tired of life, tired of inflation, tired of the problems of the world that I see every day on the news. I try not to watch the news. It's just so negative. And as a lot of you know, I'm a painter by trade. I paint homes and interiors, exteriors. I do decorative painting. I do a lot of painting of kitchen cabinets and antiquing and things like that. So it's a tedious, mindless job, and it affords me the time and even the luxury where I can daydream throughout the day. Sometimes I don't even have a radio on. I'm just like thinking about the new Far Cry 4 trailer that I've been watching. And lately I've seen every video I can on Far Cry 4. New gameplay videos. Angry Joe did one. There was one from, I think, Destructoid, and a couple other, gaming YouTube channels that did some wonderful gameplay, of Far Cry 4 and what's in store. And it's like I daydream. I'm thinking about how cool the game would be. I said if it's even anywhere near as good, even if it's more of the same, like Far Cry 3, the adventure and the open world aspect of that game is so incredible. And you compare that game to a game like, something like Choplifter 3 on the Super NES, or Airborne Rangers on the Commodore 64 or something. It's amazing how far we've come. The more time that's gone by, the more genres in gaming we have, and the more types of games. I had never even played really an FPS game. I had played Duke Nukem Time to Kill on the PlayStation 1 long before I ever played the actual Duke Nukem 3D on the computer. Later I had Total Meltdown, which I donated to Classic Game Room, along with Time to Kill and Land of the Babes, and I did enjoy it. It didn't play as well on the PlayStation 1 as it has on my Xbox 360 when I downloaded it, but it's a wonderful game, and I actually had an affinity for these third-person shooters. I didn't really like the first-person perspective that much, and it wasn't later until I played Wolfenstein Return to Castle. In fact, this is the Xbox version. I actually initially had played the PlayStation 2 Operation Resurrection version first, and this is where I really got into FPS games, and I could see how even more immersive it is as you're up close and personal. Lately, we've been watching a lot of footage of this new Grand Theft Auto 5 remastered. And people say, okay, so what, big deal, another HD remake, who cares? This game, they've put more. Rockstar just this morning, I saw a quote where they said, we have put more into polishing this game up for next-gen consoles than we have in putting, virtually, than putting all the work and time into our other games from start to finish. So they've put a tremendous, thousands of animations of reloading guns and climbing into every type of car and motorcycle and truck and airplane and submarine, everything you can imagine. All new kinds of modes, and to me, a game like Grand Theft. In fact, I played a little of this when my daughter was here. I put in Grand Theft Auto 5 and just showed them how cool it was. And I played it for like a couple hours, just stealing planes and helicopters and cars and going under the ocean. And I just they hadn't seen too much on it and were totally blown away. So you can only imagine how much better this new version's going to be. And now they've got a first-person mode where you'll be able to play the game in a first-person perspective, which puts it even more intense, much more immersive. So I'm debating. I already have the game pre-ordered. I want to play it from start to finish, the whole campaign in a first-person perspective, and see if I can do it. You can only imagine how intense the police chases and just going underwater, everything will be now. It's going to be fantastic. So, to me, gaming is much more than just, playing video games on a console. Now, some of us like our Castlevania 4s and Excitebike and Mega Man, a lot of these fun little platformers and games from the Super NES and the Sega Genesis and the C64 and the old Intellivision games and all that. They're wonderful arcade games. I take nothing away from them. I love those games too. But what got me into gaming, even on the C64, was more of the simulations, where you could simulate life, like flying a helicopter, like in Gunship on the C64. I watched a movie like Blue Thunder with Roy Scheider, and I was so obsessed with that film. And then all of a sudden, you can buy a game and see what it's like to fly a military attack helicopter. As rudimentary as those graphics, the gameplay and sound and colors and everything was, it still was a fantastic, immersive experience that I'll never forget. Those are the kind of memories, or even a game like, Duke Nukem Time to Kill, going back in time to the Old West days, the days of the Roman Colosseums and gladiators, or the King Arthur days with the castles and underground chambers and stuff. These games I put so much time into. They were so incredibly immersive, and they hold such a special place in my heart that for me, gaming is much more than just going to arcades and playing arcade games, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's times where I just want to play Trials Fusion on my PlayStation 4 and do something that's mindless. It's a mindless arcade game. And if you don't make it to the next level, who cares? You're having a good time. Or screw around in Grand Theft Auto 5 just because you can. That's what I love about gaming. There's so many different, I've got a rich array of video games surrounding me here. And each one of these boxes represents an adventure that I can get lost in. We're living in a time where, everything is so expensive. Whether you're living in, Europe or Australia or here in the United States, it's never been more expensive to accomplish your dreams, to buy your dream car, to take a trip to Hawaii. It's thousands of dollars. You know how much work and time I have to put into just to lovingly save up the money for something like that? And quite often when I even have the money to do it, it's like, God, it's an awful lot of money. It's taking me a year to save this up. Do I want to spend it on a vacation that's going to take place over 4 or 5 days and then it's gone? And there goes $4,000 or whatever. It's a lot of money. So gaming affords you, or affords one, a chance to go to a new place. So when I see a game like Far Cry 4, I've never been to the Himalayas. I'm fascinated with some of the cultures and with the monks and these Buddhist monasteries and what have you. There's so many rich aspects to it. Where a game like the Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition, which I played when my daughter was here, my daughter actually asked to see this. She'd seen me playing the last time she was up visiting. She saw me playing the Xbox 360 version. So I put this in, played a couple hours of this, and got past the first few missions, and just got to where I had my safe house and could drive around. I was showing them how rich the environments were on a motorcycle. And then I, stole a boat, took a boat around the outer perimeter of the island. They were blown away with the graphics. And just seeing it through their eyes, where they're not, as big a gamer as I am. Her boyfriend games, but again, he's into more of the PC, MMOs and League of Legends and things like that. But they were really blown away with how immersive it was. And kind of seeing it through their eyes was fascinating for me. And I was really having a great time discovering. I'm glad I bought this definitive edition of Sleeping Dogs. It's never looked and played so good. It's amazing to me. And just getting lost in a culture in Hong Kong with all the neon, the lights, and driving on the different side of the road, it's fascinating. It's a chance to take a vacation within the arena of the mind where you probably couldn't otherwise. We go to Disneyland, every few years. We'll take a trip to LA and take a few days off, and it costs hundreds of dollars. It's a few $100 just to get in for the day to get the pass. Then you got to get a hotel room while you're down there in Los Angeles. Everything costs, $40-50 for lunch. It's expensive. So I think twice about doing it now. We used to go every year. I don't do it more than every few years now because it's expensive. I'm getting older now, and I got to think about the future. Sadly, I got to think about my retirement, and I got to be kind of careful with my money. So nothing gives me the biggest bang for the buck like gaming. I get so much. I've got 35 hours into Far Cry 3. I never finished it. But to go on an island and with dangers and pitfalls, and to do these wonderful missions or not do them and do the side content missions, and just getting on a quad and exploring and then finding a hang glider and then taking the hang glider off into the distances to see where it goes, and then hunting a shark underwater. And there's so many great dynamics to a game like this, to where I don't know if it's me because I'm a right brain artist and I have such a vivid imagination where I feel so into it and so immersed. Other people go, yeah, it was alright, graphics kind of sucked, a lot of screen tearing, whatever. Other people will see this game and their experience of it may be completely different from yours or mine. But for me, I love what I got out of this game. Screen tearing and all. I don't care about those technical issues. I don't care about the resolution. It's nice to have it. It's nice to have the most realistic game possible. But to me, it's an adventure. And after, I've had almost a month off from gaming, it's really helped me to savor and appreciate every single game I'm looking at in my room here. I feel honored and privileged to where I live in a country to where I can have my own business and make money and spend my money the way I like. Now, in the past, it was on dirt bikes and street bikes and cars and bigger, faster engines and taking trips and turning over every rock every weekend. I had to go out and drive somewhere and see something. But now at my age, I've kind of been there, done that. I've seen it all. I feel like I've done pretty much everything that I've wanted to do. I took martial arts and excelled at it. I was into car racing, and I've done, good at that, and have friends that I've supported in their, ventures within car racing as well. I'm an artist. I've gone to many art shows and galleries and museums all over the United States and enjoyed other people's art. And there's so many. I have a huge movie collection. I love films. And recently I just bought, I got all 3 seasons of Night Gallery from the early 70s. It was kind of a continuation of the Twilight Zones with Rod Serling. And I spent my whole Halloween holiday just watching every single episode all over again. And many of them I hadn't seen since 1970 to 72. It was amazing to watch those episodes again. And it's great to live in the arena of the mind. You can sit and take a two-dimensional image on a television and then enter into the realm of fantasy. And it's amazing. Even though they're a little dated, I found them very fun and just so enjoyable. It was one of the nicest Halloweens I've had, just watching these old night galleries, based on old ghost stories and horror stories and stuff. It's just so cool. But where gaming excels is that you can go above and beyond just watching a World War II film, and then you enter into an experience to where you can choose and make choices along the way. You can choose to use stealth or go. So unlike a film where everyone sees pretty much the identical thing, and we have a lot of games that are fairly linear, and for the most part, everyone will have that same, Call of Duty Ghost experience going through linear pathways. But we're getting more and more games, like this or Far Cry or whatever, where you have choices you can make, and there's semi-open world areas, and you can choose the path that you like. That's what excites me about games. That's what excites me about open world games in particular, is that there's so many options, and it's different for each person. They're seeing that now, and they're designing games to where you can choose the upgrade path that you like to raise, bring your RPG elements and, upgrade your character or abilities. And I like that in games. I like it a lot. I like getting lost in these games. For me, it's one of the things that I think about throughout the day. It's just when I get home, I'm going to sit and watch a few YouTube videos. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Or I get home, I just download the new San Andreas GTA game for the Xbox 360. I haven't even played it yet. I only paid like $4 for the download. But I was so excited. And because I bought that game, I've already watched probably a half a dozen great videos, comparison videos on it. And it's just nice. It's just nice knowing it's there. It's an experience that I've already lived in my head. I enjoy it. I know what it is. And if I want to play it in HD via my Xbox 360, I can. I'm excited about that. I just bought all 3 of the Grand Theft Auto games for the original Xbox, which I've been excited of playing them. I mean, literally the day that I bought these is when they announced they're going to come out with a new San Andreas. So if I want to go and play the original, Xbox version of it, with, slightly different graphics and textures and draw distances, I can. I have all of these games, and I collect these because I'm collecting experiences. Each one of these games alone represent 100 or so hours of gaming that I could do if I choose to. I can sit here and replay Grand Theft Auto 3 all over again and relive the memories of how technically incredible this was over Grand Theft Auto 1 and 2. What a huge quantum leap. And then even the wonderful refinements in, GTA Vice City. It's so incredible. I have a deep level of appreciation for gaming and where it's gone. So when I play a game like Grand Theft Auto 4 or even 5, especially this new one, it's amazing to me how far we've come with gaming. I honestly am just totally blown away, and that's why I did this show. I wanted to bring the perspective of an older gamer, someone that's just been around. Like I said, in the old days, you had to do that. If you wanted to see what a dirt bike could do, you had to go out and buy one or borrow one and get on one and ride it, or a car or anything. And that's fascinating. I have friends of mine that, have never driven or they don't have their driver's license yet, different parts of the world. but they love cars and they enjoy a game, like Forza, which I've got, Forza 2 or Forza Horizon 1 or whatever, and they can appreciate cars just via a controller and a console, and that's great. I think it's wonderful. We live in a day and age where you can live any dream or fantasy that you want. You want to do like a Final Fantasy game, RPG game, and get lost in an older RPG game like that, you can. You want to play a newer game like Skyrim and see what it's like to live in that age and period of magic and battle axes and dragons and castles and villages and hidden entryways and passageways and what have you, or a wonderful post-apocalyptic world like Fallout 3 has with all their DLC and Fallout Las Vegas. You can. To me, that's exciting. It's so exciting that we live in an age where you can have pretty much everything you want, and quite often you don't have to pay $60 for it. Now you can buy some of these games for $20 or less used. Many of the games I buy for $10 or what have you, but like this Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, I've only played the first level of this particular one, but I played the entire game and got a high achievement score on my Xbox 360 copy of it, which I gave to my nephew. But you can get lost in this game. This is one of this and GTA 5 were my favorite games of 2013. It's hard. It seemed like it was just yesterday I played this, but this is an incredible game. I just saw Mark Bussler finally played and reviewed this, and even though I loved his PlayStation 3 review, it's just nice to see someone else that appreciates the high production values with sound design and graphics and the hair tessellation, 60 frames a second on the PlayStation 4. It's amazing, and I love games that bring you into a new world that you've never been into before. It's amazing to me, and that's why I love gaming. Escapism, as I get older, with inflation eating up my money, it costs more and more to get my dream cars, which I can't afford now. I could afford them 10, 15 years ago. I can't now. I'm working harder and harder for less money. A gallon of milk costs a lot more now than it did back in 1984, 85, but yet our wages haven't increased that much. So the reality of taking those trips or going on a skydiving vacation or getting a jet ski or a new dirt bike and then a truck and a trailer to tow it out to the desert to ride it, it represents so much time and money and even risk that gaming, you don't have that risk. You want to see what it's like to survive and barely come out alive? You can do it. You can just buy a game and enter into a whole immersive experience. This is a great one, which I'm dying to play. I've watched so much gameplay of this already and seen so many wonderful reviews. I'm saving this for a special time and place where I'll be able to go through the whole campaign and probably croak of a massive coronary. But I love the concept of gaming, that they can take a movie or a world and bring it to life. And it all started in one person's mind. Then usually a team takes it from there, and then multiple minds get together in a mastermind group, and then they orchestrate a complete blueprint for how the game will be and an overarching story, and then each of those elements is broken down as people that just work on the graphics and on the textures and on many of the details and research, just so we can go, yeah, cool game, whatever, To me, I appreciate the work that's put into this. Hundreds and hundreds of hours. Who knows how much money it costs to develop a game like this, just so we can buy it for a few bucks and experience something within the arena of the mind. To me, that's exciting. That's why I did this show, Escape to Gaming. Just as it's a form of my love for the hobby. It's my love letter to gaming and what it's done for me over the years. It's got me through some of the hardest of times where I just didn't know how I was going to make it. Like I said, I played this, my snowboarding game here, Stoke Big Air Edition. And I love this, and I was excited. I played the new SSX, which I have over here for the PlayStation 3 as well, and I love that. But so I recently got SSX 3 for the original Xbox. I haven't played it yet. I even found the original strategy guide for it, which I bought recently the other day. So I went out and took a chance, and I got this AMP 3 I was watching. I said, I want to see what some of these other snowboarding games that I remember when they came up and never saw. So it's great, and go on YouTube, and you can just watch reviews and gameplay videos of these wonderful snowboarding games. I'll watch something like Metal Jesus' Hidden Gems on the Xbox or Xbox 360, and you'll see other people recommend games, and it's neat. You can go ahead and type in that game, put in, AMP3 gameplay, and there's a whole myriad of gameplay videos come up. And then you can go through and watch a few segments. Some will like the game, some will pick it apart. But what you'll see is people having fun with the game. And then you can put yourself in their place. So could I envision myself getting into a snowboarding game like this? Now, I have no interest in ever snowboarding or skiing again. Even when I was into skiing, I would never do it now and risk all the work and driving my car in the snow and going up to Lake Tahoe, 9 minutes from here, and putting chains on my car and putting a ski rack on the roof or in my truck or whatever and driving up just to risk doing it. There's a time where I felt I had to do that to experience. If you really want to experience them, you have to physically do it. I'm past it now. Now that I'm older and I'm busted up pretty good. I've had so many broken bones and so much trauma done to my neck and spine. I can't risk getting on a dirt bike or a snowboard or something, but I can live it through someone else's invention of this video game. And this game, I think I paid like, $8 for it or something. Really cheap. And it's a fantastic game. I can't believe I never played this before. So I'm having a lot of fun researching and finding games, and what they really are, it's not so much a game. To me, it's an experience of immersion. And because I saw that, they recommended some skateboarding games. I had never played any of the Tony Hawk games. I used to do a lot of skateboarding myself in the late 70s and early 80s. So I saw a lot of reviews, and a lot of people were raving, oh, if you like this on Tony Hawk's or this, you should try the Skate 2 or especially Skate 3. So I started watching videos, and this is like the closest thing to real skateboarding I've ever seen. This is the same thing I did. Racing through college campuses, jumping. I used to jump 9 stairs at a time. I could go off the roof of my car, onto the hood, onto the pavement. Tons of half pipes, skateboard ramps in my friends' backyards, and that's what this game brings to life. You want to see what it's like to skateboard and even do some dangerous stunts without breaking your neck, you can do it via the video game. So I got this PlayStation 3 version. My Xbox 360 hard drive so maxed out. I'm going to try to get more games from my PlayStation 3, but this game I haven't put it in yet. I am extremely excited to play this and get back into skateboarding again for the first time since the early or mid 80s. It's exciting to me. That's what I love about gaming. A simple puzzle game, like the original Myst game on the PlayStation 3 or PC, or even Myst 3 Exile, which I played twice all the way through on my original Xbox back in the day, is so exciting. I love these kind of experiences. It's the immersion of getting lost in a game that makes life exciting to me, especially at my age. And you'll see, many of you as you get older, you'll begin to appreciate what gaming can give you as the world becomes more and more unobtainable in so many areas because of the expensive inflation that we live with. And the physical limitations of the human body. It's great that we can enter the arena of the mind and get lost in a wonderful hobby. And it makes collecting these games all the more fun. It makes owning them fun. Like I said, just looking at the collection and seeing the spines of the boxes, and then each one of those names represents like a doorway, a portal to another world I can get lost in. Whether it's, Singularity, which I'm looking at over here, or the old original 2009 Wolfenstein, or Kane and Lynch Dead Men, Mafia 2, which I've been playing recently, a month or so ago. I would really get into that. I've got just so many wonderful experiences in games that I can delve into, and just knowing that they're there, just knowing they're like good friends. It's like almost picking up your telephone, calling an old friend that's on your phone list. That's what each one of these games represents. It's a time and a place where each of them will bring back memories, if I've played them before, of that immersion that I went through back in 2009 or 2010. And I can remember how much fun L.A. Noire was. And if I want to experience it all over again, I have the option. To me, that's exciting. That's what gaming's all about. So I love films and television. Like many of you, we love the same things in pop culture, but never before have we had it so good. And I've realized that after virtually a month of almost no gaming, just those 9 hours of gaming over the course of Saturday and Sunday when my daughter was here playing, my Stoke Big Air Edition. I played Forza Horizon 2, GTA 5. We played Call of Duty Ghosts, about 6 or 7 levels of that between my daughter's boyfriend and I. We had so much fun playing even Call of Duty Ghosts, as mindless as that is. It was so much fun. And then I wrapped it all up by putting Sleeping Dogs in and getting lost in that world. And it was an instant reminder. It's that little smorgasbord of gaming over the weekend prompted me to do this rant. I'm so amped about gaming. I'm so pumped about a hobby there's always something new. I got this new Mad Max game coming out. Probably will correlate with the new release of the film next spring, which is exciting to me. I can't wait for Avalanche Studios, the new Mad Max game. It's going to be so cool. There'll be more games. Battlefield Hardline, it looks like an interesting game. We'll be able to do a lot of those same things in the new GTA 5 from a first-person perspective as well with a heist. I mean, it's going to be fantastic. So never before have we had it so good. Like many of you, I'm very excited about the games that have come out this year, games that were coming out in the next couple months, and the games that are slated to come out next year. For some, it's an Assassin's Creed Unity they're excited about, or it's Battlefield Hardline multiplayer. Many people are having a lot of fun with this Sunset Overdrive on the Xbox One. I don't have an Xbox One, but if that's your cup of tea and you can get lost in a fun experience like that, it's mindless, just having a good time, bright colors, crazy stuff going on. If that's what you like, then that's what gaming is all about. That's what makes the thing so fun. So we can all appreciate each other's genres and favorites based on many of the YouTube videos that we watch. It's just fun to see people enjoying the hobby from the collecting standpoint, from collecting retro games and consoles and old computers and PCs to, buying a new one. I just saw, some new stuff on this new Alienware Alpha unit you can get, so you can play, the Steam type games right there in your living room. And it's exciting. I mean, never before have we had it so good. This new Grand Theft Auto 5 that's coming out, you'll be able to play it in 4K on a PC. I mean, if your PC can even do it, it's amazing to me that we're making games so better, much more immersive. Everything is becoming a quantum leap of what was before it. That's what's exciting. And from an older gamer's perspective like my own, to be there since the beginning, but even before Pong, and then seeing the initial Pong for the first time and playing it, and then playing those in television games and Atari 2600 games, I'll never forget those experiences as long as I live. Maybe perhaps not having those consoles like many kids today. They've got every console and handheld that comes out. I didn't have any of that. So I built up this reservoir of enthusiasm. So when I was old enough, well into my 20s, to buy my first Commodore 64 and have my first console of my own, or a Super NES, it was very exciting to me. And it's changed my life, literally, for the better. And the older I get, the more value and appreciation I put on this hobby. Because we're living in a time, it's tough times, a tough age. We work harder and harder, and we have less and less physical things. But no one can take away the freedom of the mind. Nobody can take away the fun you can have via the mind, in the arena of the mind, by taking in a wonderful movie or TV show, or especially an interactive experience like a video game. Never before has it been so cool and so fun to be a gamer in my experience of living on the planet for half a century. It's really cool to see how far gaming has come, and I want to see it go further. Many of you someday will be my age, and you'll probably have a similar perspective on gaming. Who knows how gaming will look 10 years from now or 15 years. So my goal is to try to get the remainder of my collection, which it's doable, by next year, and there'll still be other games I'll discover and want to pick up. But I want to try to wrap up my collection next year, the last couple consoles I want, and then I'm just going to start enjoying it with the limited time that I have. I'm going to look forward to getting back in and finishing these games that I started and taking on new ones, like Fallout 3. I'm dying to get back to the game after years of starting it, never finishing it. I can't wait to get back. Just knowing it's there is exciting to me. That's what gaming's all about. It's just for me, I work so much, I don't have that much time, but eventually I'm going to be slowing down and retiring and then segueing more into my art, not doing as much physical stuff, and I probably will have more time for gaming. And by then I may not have as much money, but I'll have the games to do it on in the consoles, which is what my plan is. Everything holds together okay. So anyway, that's my little long-winded rant on escapism, why I find it's important, why I love to escape within the arena of the mind. Like I said, there's physical limitations, money limitations, just the reality of what it costs to do the things in real life, and you can enter into a game, like this, and you can experience everything. The peace of going underwater and discovering whales and dolphins, or going on a rampage of violence within the city of Los Santos. That's what's exciting to me. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Enjoy your genres of games, whatever they are. Enjoy the aspect of collecting that you love, retro gaming, whatever it is. Have fun with your games, and thanks for watching.